This is Atomic Shinobi, and today I'm going to narrate what if Kid Naruto was chased out of the village. If you enjoy this video, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Now, wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Pain was distributed in the village of Konohagakure, but what was most repulsive was that a 4-year-old boy was being hurt. Why? He was the Kyuubi no Kitsune's demon carrier, which was the cause. You see, 4 years ago, the Konoha ninjas and their allies, the Shadow Village, the Hayabusa Village, the Mugen Tenshin, and the Nine Tails, engaged in a fierce battle. The conflict claimed many lives until the village leader arrived. The strongest shinobi in Konoha were referred to as the Hokage, which was the title given to their leader. The tall, slender man had blue eyes and blonde hair. He was Minato Namikaze, the Kiroi Senko, the Yondaime Hokage, and the man who put an end to the Third Great Shinobi War. He was standing atop Gamabunta, a giant toad summon. The Yondaime, who was only 20.2 at the time, lost his life in the battle, but it was over when he cried out. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the former Hokage, assumed the role once more and ruled that the younger generation would not be aware of the Kyuubi. He simply told them that the Kyuubi had died, but that it had actually been sealed inside a young boy who resembled the Yondaime in appearance, with blue eyes and blonde hair, but he had 3 whisker marks on each cheek, like a cat or, in this case, a fox. His real name was Naruto Namikaze, but he went by Naruto Uzumaki. After a 6-month unsuccessful search, it was determined that his mother, Kushina Uzumaki, was dead. She had given birth to him and reportedly vanished from view. The Sandaime Hokage had long held the Yondaime in high regard and was aware that Naruto was not the Kyuubi. He made a concerted effort to keep the peace for the boy, but the council, mostly the advisors and civilians, would keep him busy. The village of Hayabusa was now very affluent and secretive. They talked and traded, but they never disclosed their methods to anybody. Most notably Uchiha, those who attempted their techniques without the necessary training perished. Ryu Hayabusa's father, the leader Joe Hayabusa, was friends with the late Yondaime, as was his son. Sensing that Naruto's life would be in grave danger if he stayed in Konoha, Joe Hayabusa attempted to convince the Sandaime. In response, the Sandaime said that his father would have preferred for Naruto to grow up in his house and that the people would change, but they didn't. "Come back here, demon. Let us have the pleasure of avenging our families." As quickly as he could, the boy sprinted ahead of them, away from the crowd. The hero of Konoha, Naruto Uzumaki, the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Kitsune, was treated as though he were the Tsuchikage's son. The boy didn't realize he had passed the gates or that the crowd had dispersed. "Let him run!" exclaimed one of them. According to a civilian, "No, we should kill him." The initial comment was, "If we kill him here, we would be executed. If we let him run into the wilderness, there is a chance that he might die in the forest and we can say that he ran out of the village." Knowing that the source of their suffering was no longer alive, the mob accepted his reasoning and returned home. "Why am I going to die in a place like this? Alone? I can't take it. I might as well give up. I'm sorry, Ayame. Chan. Tuchi.g. Hokage.g. Sayonara." Naruto's eyes slowly focused on a light before closing as he saw it. He would have realized that people were watching him if he had kept his eyes open for a moment. A wolf materialized, snarling and growling at the bleeding, unconscious boy. Blood spattered after it squatted and leapt. The wolf was killed, its head smashed off as it fell to the ground. Unlike modern ninjas, this one wore traditional ninja attire. Only his olive-green eyes were visible, and he carried a sword on his back. Despite his advanced age, Ryu Hayabusa had a strategic mind and wisdom that held it. To assess the boy's condition, Ryu knelt down and examined his leg and side, which were both heavily bleeding, but he also noticed that the wound was slowly healing. "What is this? Sorcery. Wait. Those marks. This is Minato's son, Naruto. Those fools. I got to get him home. He has lost a lot of blood," the super ninja was thinking. After carefully tending to Naruto's wounds and tearing off pieces of his garment, Ryu carried the boy in his arms and proceeded through the trees. Hayabusa Village. As the cool night air blew through his hair, Joe Hayabusa kept watch over his village. When he said, "You are maturing very well, Ryu. Your stealth is improving," he briefly closed his eyes. "Father, I found something," Ryu said. When Joe asked, "What is it?" Ryu replied, "It is Minato's son, Naruto. He has lost a lot of blood and he seems exhausted. I think he was run out of the village." "What? Where is he?" asked the head of Hayabusa. His son responded, "I dropped him off in Kureha's care. He should be fine by now." The Hayabusa heir and leader strode to the home of Ryu's childhood friend, Kureha, and said angrily, "How could this have happened? Somewhere in the back of my mind, I knew that those villagers would not understand nothing. Don't send word to the Hokage about this at all. We will take over Naruto's well-being. Konoha be damned. I respected Minato's last request to let Naruto be raised in his home village, but now things will change. Kureha. The young boy, whose wounds were appropriately dressed, was sleeping soundly under the watchful eye of the lovely shrine maiden. How could do this to a young boy? He is not even trained in the ways of the ninja and already has been wounded plenty of times, she was thinking to herself. Ah, Joe. Sama. Ryu-kun, Kureha said as she got to her feet as Joe and Ryu entered the room. How is he, Kureha? Asked Joe. According to Kureha, he is fine. He seems to have a powerful healing ability. There was some kind of seal on his stomach, so I am guessing that it is somehow linked to his healing ability. Joe replied, that is because of the Kyuubi. It seems that Minato-kun transferred its power to heal Naruto. This is Minato-kun's son? Kureha asked. Joe replied, yes, and from what Ryu said, he must have been run out of the village until he collapsed with exhaustion and the loss of blood. She said, so what do we do with Naruto-kun, as the Dragon Shrine Maiden? Joe replied with a grin, simple, we keep him here. I will not allow Naruto to suffer in that village any longer. He will be trained in the ways of the ninja, but by our rules. Ryu responded, are you sure that this is a wise decision, father? Joe gave a firm nod. I am positive, the life of a ninja is in his blood. There is no mistake, and I am afraid that when Minato made him a Jinchuriki has made that situation unavoidable. Therefore we will train him here, and if he wants to go back to Konoha, we will let him go, but he will be sworn to secrecy about our techniques. I know that those Uchiha will try to copy them and that bastard Danzo will try to get him and our secrets. Naruto awoke drowsily and started to move around, but as soon as he saw the three individuals, he started to cower in terror. Please don't hurt me. Joe was grinning as he thought, they are so lucky that I am friends with the Sandaime, or I would have stormed in that village and killed every single villager in sight. Kureha walked slowly up to the boy and said, it's okay, young one, we are not going to hurt you. Ryu, put the sword down, so he can calm down. Naruto responded, where am I? This is not Konoha. I remember that I was in the forest and a wolf, was going to eat me. Smiled. That is right, you are now in the Hayabusa ninja village, that masked man over there, his name is Ryu, he saved your life when he found you unconscious in the forest. You would have been killed by that wolf if he didn't find you. Everybody hates me, I don't know why, but I think I did something bad, Naruto said sadly as his thoughts returned to the events. They said I killed their families, but no one would tell me how I did it. Joe replied, you didn't kill anybody, Naruto. Those people were just stupid. How did you know my name? Asked Naruto. Joe replied, I knew your mother well before he died. My son Ryu and him were the best of friends, brothers in a sense. You knew my mother? Asked Naruto. Joe gave a nod. Yes, your father was Kushina Uzumaki, the Crimson Death Maiden. She was a fiery little one with a heart of gold. Unfortunately, I have no idea if your mother is alive or dead. I don't believe that she is dead, or else there would be a body. With a start, Naruto asked, my mother is possibly alive? Joe replied, yes, she might be, we are still trying to look for her, but we have no clues. Funny, although you are the spitting image of your father, you have her untamable spirit and determination. I can see her through your eyes. She was very well liked in this village. Are you going to take me back to Hokage.G? Asked Naruto hesitantly. Joe replied, no, Naruto, we are not. If we do, we would be condemning you to a life of hell. Those villagers would do worse to you, and since the Sandaime is distracted by matters from the council, he would have no time to save you. Those villagers would kill you if I send you back, so I have decided to train you in the way of the ninja. Really, I am going to be a ninja like you? Asked Naruto. Joe replied, yes, Ryu and myself will train you in our way, but there is a catch. If you want to go back to Konoha, you must never tell anyone about our secrets. You must guard them with your life. Understand? Naruto responded, I will protect them with my life. Anyo, what is your name, mister? Joe laughed. My name is Joe Hayabusa, the leader of this village. You already know my son, Ryu, and this young lady that cared for you is Kureha, a Dragon Shrine Maiden and Ryu's childhood friend. Personally, I think that they are lovers from the way they act. Joe. Sama, Kureha exclaimed, her face flushed. Although Ryu remained silent, he was relieved that the mask concealed his face, because otherwise, it would have been obvious that he was flushed. Joe and Naruto both chuckled a little when he said, ew. Ryu and Kureha kissing. Yuck. Joe replied, don't worry, you will soon understand about it. This is what Naruto said. No, I won't. After Kureha burst out laughing at the young boy's antics, there was a long period of silence. Anyo, Joe. Sama, do you know my father's name? Joe replied, I do, but I will tell you about him when you get a little bit older. There are some things that you wouldn't be able to understand fully at this young age, but I promise to tell you when you have a bit of training under your belt, alright? Naruto replied, okay, Joe. Sama, but there is something that bothers me. In Konoha, my mother was well respected in the village, so why do the people hate me so much? Joe exhaled. Both your father and mother were notorious ninja, but your father was the one with the highest bounty and your mother's enemies were dead. She was barely known in the outside world, which is why the Sandaime had to hide your heritage by using your mother's maiden name. And the reason why they hate you is because what is sealed inside you. Grasping his stomach, Naruto said, sealed inside me? Joe replied, do you know the story of the Kyuubi? Naruto replied, yes, the Yondaime gave his life to kill the Kyuubi. Joe replied, you are half right, Naruto. The thing is that the Kyuubi could not be killed, only sealed, and he had to use a baby to keep it at bay. That baby was you. The Yondaime sealed the Kyuubi inside me? Asked Naruto. Joe replied, now before you decided to curse him, let me explain a bit further. The Yondaime tried to find a different way to stop the Kyuubi, but unfortunately he had no choice but to seal the Kyuubi inside of you. He knew for a fact that there were people in Konoha that would exploit the Kyuubi's power for evil purposes. He knew your mother fairly well, and when she told him that she would willingly give you up to be the Jinchuriki, she knew that you would be strong enough to handle it. Naruto stated, basically I was the only one the Yondaime could trust because I was his friend's son. Joe responded, yes, if he had sealed it into another random person, that person would have cracked under those beatings and killed countless people. But you inherited both your mother and father's will to never give up hope, and he knew that factor would play in keeping the Kyuubi in its place. You were the only one. Naruto replied, I think I understand. The Yondaime trusted me with this burden because he knew that I was the one to keep it away from harming anyone, because I was Kushina's son, Naruto, Uzumaki. Joe gave a nod. Your training will start in 6 months, until then we will go visit my brother, Mirai and his clan, the Shadow Clan, then we will see Shiden and the Mugen Tenshin clan. With a nod, Naruto gently lay down again, being cautious not to reopen any wounds. The Sandaime Hokage, meanwhile, was incensed and wanted to know why there was no Anbu present to stop Naruto from being chased out of the village. In addition to being the Yondaime's only son, he was Kami's fucking savior. He had dispatched the Inuzuka to find Naruto after informing the Hayabusa village of his whereabouts. They came back with Naruto's blood stained, torn jacket. The Sandaime told the council that Naruto Uzumaki was dead because he didn't want them to believe it, because he secretly knew that Naruto was still alive. While he was signing documents in his office, the Sandaime reflected, I have failed you, Naruto, Minato, Kushina, I have failed you all. Are you ready to go, Naruto? Joe asked after Naruto had changed into a dark purple GI and a fishnet shirt a week later. Imagine Ryu Hayabusa's comic outfit without the headgear. Naruto said, hi, Joe. Sama. Protect the village and keep Momiji safe, Joe said, turning to Kureha. Kureha replied, I will do as you ask, be careful, Joe. Sama. Ryu.kun, Naru-chan. According to Naruto, by Kureha.ne. Chan. After leaving the village, the trio headed toward the Shadow Clan, arriving at the clan compound a few hours later. Mirai replied, Joe, how are you? And Ryu, you have gotten bigger than the last time I saw you. According to Ryu, hello, Uncle Mirai. Mirai then looked at Naruto, who was hesitantly hiding behind Ryu's leg. His smile said, and who is this little one? Stuttering, Naruto said, Naruto Uzumaki, Mirai, Sama. Mirai replied, please just call me Mirai or Mirai.san. Mirai. Sama kind of makes me feel old. Welcome to the Shadow Ninja Village. Where did you find him? He asked, turning to face Joe. Joe stated, he was found by Ryu in the forest, close to exhaustion. I see, and you are going to train him? Asked Mirai. According to Joe, that is the gist of it. Mirai replied, well, then I can sense that he will grow strong under your tutelage, Joe. Do you have a wooden sword somewhere? Inquired Joe. Yes, Mirai replied, I have one for the boy. After searching through his belongings, the man gave Naruto a wooden sword. In order to prevent the wooden sword from slipping, Naruto bowed to Mirai and tucked it into his belt and behind his back. Now I am just like you, Ryu.ni.san. Indeed, Naruto, Ryu said. Joe responded, Ryu, take Naruto to the children and watch over him. With a serious expression on his face, Mirai said, "Joe, this is unlike you. You take a stranger into the Hayabusa clan so easily." Ryu nodded and escorted Naruto away. Joe stated, "Naruto is different, he is like his father." Mirai replied, "So his legacy is still alive. I see, you respected Minato highly. After all, he was the only one who could fight against you and live to tell the tale, but why isn't he home?" With his teeth clenched, Joe said, "Because some idiots don't know anything between the holster and the kunai." Mirai responded, "I see, so what do I owe the honor of this visit?" Joe replied, "I need Naruto to be trained in nunchucks. Sadly I am limited in this art and you are the only one skilled in this matter." Mirai replied, "Fine, I will train, Joe. When he is 7, send him here." It was Joe who said, "Thank you, Mirai. Anytime, brother," Mirai said. Joe, Ryu, and Naruto arrived at the Mugen Tenshin clan's gates and strode inside. Ryu said abruptly, Dad, I got to go." "What is that all about?" asked Naruto as Ryu vanished without a word. Joe replied, "In this village, Ryu has a fan club, which makes him a target when he comes here." When Naruto said, "I don't see any," the ground began to tremble, and a swarm of kunoichi ran in Ryu's direction, nearly trampled Naruto. "Oh, I see what you mean, why doesn't he go with Kureha.ne-chan?" Joe replied, "Sometimes when you want to tell someone about your feelings, it takes a lot of time." Shiden was playing a young girl when they arrived at the Tenjinmen sect and unlocked the gates. "Oh, hello, Joe, and who's this?" "I am Naruto, Naruto Uzumaki," Naruto grinned. "My name is Shiden, and this is my daughter, Kasumi," Shiden said. "Hello," Kasumi said with a shy smile. "Hi, my name is Naruto, wanna play?" said Naruto. Kasumi turned to face her father, who motioned her to join Naruto in play. Grinning, Kasumi rushed to Naruto and took his hand, guiding him to the park. Shiden replied, "Well, Joe, what brings you here to Mugen Tenshin?" Joe replied, "I want you to help me train Naruto using Ninpo." Shiden responded, "You are serious about this, aren't you, Joe Hayabusa?" Joe replied, "That boy is the son of a close friend of mine and Ryu's. I want to help as much as I can since his own village cannot provide the same thing I offer." "But what if he spills your secrets?" Shiden asked. Joe replied, "I am not worried about that. Naruto is a trustworthy person and when he sets his mind on something, he will stick to it. He is very stubborn like his mother. If he does spill any of them, then I will have to kill him myself." "Okay. His Ninpo training will start when he is 10 years old. By then, his body should be able to handle the strain," Shiden said after pausing for a moment. "Thank you, old friend," Joe said. "Not at all," Shiden remarked. "Say, where is Ryu?" Joe grinned and said, "Where else?" escaping his fangirls. Shiden laughed. "I told him not to take off his mask or he will have girls chasing him." While playing in the park, Naruto and Kasumi were giggling and laughing together when Naruto heard a shout. "Kasumi-san, could you please wait here for a minute?" said Naruto. Naruto followed Kasumi's nod and discovered two boys teasing a 5-year-old girl with short purple hair and a purple GI, pushing her roughly into the dirt while yelling, "What are you doing here, cursed child? Why don't you just die?" one of them asked. Another person added, "Yeah, rape, child." One of them attempted to strike her again, but Naruto took the blow in the face and held his arms up in front of them, obstructing the girl's view, and his eyes blazed with rage as the girl briefly replaced herself with him. "What on earth are you?" among the boys, one inquired. "That doesn't matter to you. Why are you hitting this girl?" asked Naruto. "That's none of your business. She's just a nobody and an outcast," the accomplice said. "What has she done wrong?" asked Naruto. "Just being born, she is a rape child," the leader declared. Naruto responded, "And that is an excuse to hit her, you guys are no better than the one who raped her mother." The leader uttered the words, "Why you?" He punched Naruto, who ducked and pulled out the wooden sword, smashing it against the leader's hand, causing stars to appear in his eyes. After the accomplice grabbed Naruto from behind, the leader started punching the Jinchuriki in the face and stomach until he looked into Naruto's eyes, which were blood red instead of vibrant blue and were full of rage and hatred. "Crap, it is the princess, let's get out of here," the leader said, turning to face Kasumi after hearing a shout. As Kasumi knelt down to Naruto, the boys dropped him to the ground and fled, asking, "Naruto-kun, are you okay?" With a painful wince, Naruto said, "Yeah, I am okay." "Ayane-chan," Kasumi said, glancing at the girl with the purple hair. With a chilly gaze, the purple Haired girl named Ayane asked Kasumi, "What are you doing here, Kasumi, sama?" The way Ayane spat out the suffix, Ayane, chan, we are friends, sisters, made Kasumi wince. "No, we are not," Ayane said icily. "You were born voluntarily, but I was born as an outsider. The princess is you." Naruto responded, "Hey, Ayane. Chan, that is not the way to treat Kasumi. Chan like that, sure, she is the princess, but she is your friend, your sister." "You know what?" Ayane asked. "Nobody is aware of you, you're just a random boy." "Hey, I just saved you from getting beaten up, and this is how I get thanks," said Naruto. With a softer expression, Ayane said, "You are right, I am sorry." "It is okay, Ayane. Chan, I know how you feel," Naruto remarked. Ayane responded, No, you don't know. You don't know how it feels to be alone, to be hated for something that happened out of your control." He raised his shirt to reveal the seal, and Naruto sighed, "Actually I do, Ayane. Chan, before you get on me." The seal appears when Naruto is getting healed from his injuries. "What is that?" Ayane inquired. "This seal contains a demon that attacked my home village before I was born," Naruto remarked. "The demon inside of me was sealed by the Yandaime Hokage, the head of my former village. In order to prevent the village from being destroyed, my mother offered to use me. Everyone held my mother in high regard, but they all saw me as the demon. Like you, I became an outsider and was always by myself. You see, both of us hail from wealthy families and were cursed for circumstances beyond our control. You cannot be jealous of Kasumi or blame yourself for being a so-called rape child. Instead, show everyone that they were mistaken about you and grow as strong as you can be." After observing the intensity in Naruto's eyes for a minute, Ayane turned away and remarked, "Thank you, Naruto. It's just that my mother just told me that I was her daughter born out of rape, and the fact that Kasumi is treated well and me as an outcast infuriates me." Kasumi replied, "Actually, Ayane-chan, being a princess is equally bad." "What?" Ayane asks, glancing at the 6-year-old girl. "No one recognizes me as Kasumi. They all refer to me as Haim Sama, Shiden's daughter, or Hayate's sister," Kasumi said. "Everyone only plays with me because they don't want their friends to criticize or acknowledge them. All I want is to be known as Kasumi, a fellow kunoichi undergoing training." "See, Ayane," said Naruto. "A promise to be recognized as strong ninja and kunoichi, to make a name for ourselves." He held out his hand, saying, "Let's make a promise between the three of us because everyone wants to be different." When Kasumi placed her hand over Naruto, they both turned to face Ayane, who asked, "What's your name?" Naruto said. "Uzumaki Naruto." Ayane replied, "I will make this promise with you, Naruto-kun." "Great, let's play." "Kasumi is it," Naruto said. As Naruto and Ayane drove off, Kasumi exclaimed, "No fair, you two move far too quickly. Await my arrival." When Joe and Shiden arrived, the three of them were laughing while playing, and Shiden scowled as he watched Ayane play with his daughter and said, "Kasumi, time to go." With a nod, Kasumi approached her father, who continued to stare at Ayane, who recoiled from his stare, and Naruto remarked, "Hey, mister. Stop doing that to Ayane-chan." Shiden turned to face Naruto, who was standing guard in front of Ayane. The leader of the Mugen Tenshin thought, "Interesting. I apologize, Naruto-san. I was just taken aback," Shiden said. Naruto responded, "Cut the crap, old man. I am not stupid. I know those eyes too well because I received them as much as she did." Shocked, Shiden turned to face Joe, who looked at him. "Treat Ayane-chan the same way you treat Kasumi-chan," Naruto said. "She is your stepdaughter, and the fact that she was raped as a child does not justify treating her negatively. No matter how strong you are, I promise to beat you up for mistreating her if you continue to do so." Shiden laughed and said, "Joe, this one is indeed Kushina's son, loyal to his friends. You passed my test." Kasumi and Ayane were taken aback by Naruto's remarks. Astutely, Naruto uttered, "Huh? We've been watching you two play for a while, and I noticed that you protected Ayane from those bullies. I tested your loyalty, and it worked flawlessly," Shiden said. "Naruto, I decided to look at Ayane to see that your deeds were honorable." Thanks, I guess," said Naruto. Shiden replied, "I will be training you in Ninpo when you are older, so I will be seeing you around." With a smile, Naruto uttered, "Hey, what is Ninpo?" Shiden replied, "Ninpo are the spiritual and mental arts of the ninja. If you are inexperienced, you could be consumed by your own spell and die, which is why I am teaching it to you when you are older." "Puffy," Naruto said, Ah, I want to do something cool. Naruto's eyes widened in surprise as he waved his hands in response to Joe's statement. Oh, so training with us isn't cool. No, that is not what I meant. Guys, help me out here. When the boy decided to pout, everyone laughed at him. Thus, Naruto spent 2 years learning taijutsu and physical training from Joe and Ryu. It was obviously difficult, but to their surprise, Naruto worked until he was exhausted every day. They also made him study under Kureha, who was the only one with the patience to teach Naruto how to solve puzzles and decipher hidden meanings. He performed the standard physical training exercises, such as push-ups, tying his legs to a high branch, balancing on one point with his finger, and using teacups to bring water up to the buckets tied next to his legs. Additionally, he became friends with Hamamaru, Sakura, Denroku, and Sanji, all of whom were close friends of Kureha and her 10-year-old sister, Momiji. Naruto saw that Hamamaru had a crush on Sakura, who in turn had a crush on Ryu, and that Sanji, like Denroku, was a bookworm by Naruto's standards. When it was time for him to visit the Shadow Village, Joe revealed that his father was actually the Yondaime Hokage, Minato Namikaze, the Kiroi Senko. Naruto was both happy and shocked to learn who his father was and why Joe had waited to tell him about him. He would have been angry with him if he had told him when he first asked. Naruto always carries a book in his arm whenever he sees Denroku. He thanked his father for allowing him to meet his blood brother and his newfound friends, even though he still felt some resentment toward him because of the suffering he endured. Then he relocated the Shadow Clan village, where he was surprised to find Ayane as well. The two trained together with Mirai as their teacher, and for some reason, when Naruto spoke to Mirai, a negative vibe came from him. Ayane received the same vibe, but chose not to act on it. When they sparred and Ayane relayed messages between Naruto and Kasumi, they grew closer. Ayane would turn dark red whenever Naruto made a remark about her progress, and since he was still a naive boy, he would inquire as to whether she had a fever. At the age of 9, things became interesting when Ayane would slap Naruto in retaliation and then begin to apologize for the slap. Kureha's sister Momiji was training at another ninja village, so Naruto and Kureha were in the shrine, guarding the dark dragon blade, while Joe, who was 9 years old, went on a training trip to refine his skills and Ryu went to visit Mirai by breaking into the Shadow Ninja Fortress. Kureha. Ni-chan, what is so bad about the blade? Inquired Naruto. It appears to be the sword of Ni-san. The dark dragon existed a long time ago and started killing everyone in sight, Kureha said. The dark dragon was then slain by the dragon lineage, our ancestors, using the Ryukin, a sword fashioned from a flying dragon's teeth and imbued with the spirits of the dragon gods. Its spirit was divided into 8 dark stones, which can combine to form the dark dragon's eye. After witnessing the true dragon sword's power, the fiends created a sister blade known as the Dark Dragon Blade, Kokuriyumaru, using the dark dragon's bones. It gathers all of humanity's evil and transforms the wielder into the devil incarnate. After examining the blade, Naruto remarked, "It doesn't seem evil at all." According to Kureha, that is because it is sealed. But what if a good person wields it? Inquired Naruto. I don't know, no one has ever tried at all, Kureha said. Oh, said Naruto. Now let's play a game, Kureha said. After hours of play, Naruto said, okay. The guards in the room could hear Kureha and Naruto laughing, but that tranquility would soon be broken when one of them said, Kureha-san, arm yourself. What happened? The Dragon Shrine maiden asked. The officer responds, enemy ninja are raiding the village, they appears to be after the Dark Dragon Sword. All right, then, Kureha said, I'll guard the sword, but I'll also make sure the civilians are safe. Take Naruto, Naruto said, but I'm not going anywhere. Naruto, now is not the time to quarrel, Kureha said. Naruto responded, no, I will protect this village, this is my home and I have much right to protect it as much as you do. You will die if you face the enemy. Additionally, Kureha stated, but I don't want you to get hurt. Naruto replied, I won't, and I can't let you fight by yourself. Then Ryu. Nissan will be mad and won't be able to tell his feelings, therefore I will make sure that you live. Ignoring the remark about Ryu for the time being, Kureha sighed and said, it seems that I can't convince you anymore, fine, you can stay. The leader who spoke to a step toward Kureha and Naruto moved in front of his path. Look here, boys. The best that the Hayabusa clan can spare to protect the strongest blade is a boy and a pretty little girl. Naruto said, good. He took out his nunchukas and held it out as the guard returned to his post, only to be killed as enemy ninja flooded in and surrounded Kureha and Naruto. The leader turned to face Naruto, who began to turn the nunchuku around his chest before stopping it beneath his armpit. The ninja remarked, Wow, nice display, kid. The ninjas were momentarily stunned and launched an attack on Naruto, but Kureha used her naginata to block their claws and swords. Naruto remained silent and swung the nunchaku, causing it to smash against his kneecap, shattering it, and then smashing the end against the ninja's temple, killing him. Kureha's tone was dangerous as she said, "You will not touch this boy." The ninja arrived at the shrine to see the dark dragon sword and were about to grasp it when Naruto threw the nunchakus at them. Then she raised her weapon and swung it around, slicing some in half and giving some a terrible wound. One of them managed to escape, and Naruto ran after him while Kureha dealt with the others. The ninja yelled, "You little brat, I will kill you," as the weapon struck their hand. Because of his physical conditioning and reflexes from Joe, Ryu, and Mirai, the boy was able to avoid the ninja's slashes when he was running at him with his sword. When Naruto stumbled and fell to the ground, the ninja was about to hit him, but Naruto grabbed the closest object, which was the dark dragon sword. The ninja was taken aback by the black sword's deflecting blow and shattering of the blade, which allowed Naruto to grab the heavy weapon and sever his leg entirely. The ninja fell to the ground, where Naruto stabbed him in the head, permanently silencing the unidentified ninja. The fox roared, sending the essence flying into the air. "Oh, no, this is my vessel, if anything is going to control him." The Kyuubi saw the dark dragon's essence attempting to corrupt the boy inside his mind. "It is going to be me, and me alone." Kureha frantically searched for Naruto and discovered him holding the dark dragon sword after the Hayabusa clan successfully put down the raiders, causing him to pass out and fall to the ground. When Ryu entered a few minutes later and noticed the same sign that Kureha was watching, the two had Naruto strapped to the bed with the dark dragon sword in hand as a precaution. Ryu had attempted to pry it from his hand earlier, but it refused to budge. To her surprise and astonishment, the dark blade did nothing to the boy. It did not change him into a manifestation of the devil incarnate or anything. When Naruto woke up, he tried to get out of bed but was unable to do so. "Why am I strapped to the bed? Ryu.ni.san and Kureha.ne. Chan?" he asked. He asked his caretaker and adoptive brother. Ryu responded, "Well, we are not sure because of that in your hand." "Huh?" said Naruto. The Jinchuriki looked at his hand and saw that in his hand was the dark dragon sword. Immediately Naruto let go of the sword, screaming, get it off, I have been trying to get that sword from your hands and it would not budge at all." Ryu and Kureha were shocked when the sword fell to the ground. "How is this possible?" Kureha asked. "I think it's because of Naruto's heart," Ryu remarked. "I've seen that Naruto has always prioritized the safety of his friends over his own. Additionally, I believe that the Kyuubi is involved in this. The fox, like all people, dislikes being controlled, and the dark dragon sword attempted to do so. This suggests that the Kyuubi assisted him and rendered Naruto impervious to the sword's advances." Naruto replied, "So basically I am the only one who can use this sword." "Yes, you are, Naruto.kun, Kureha remarked. "This means that you will be able to fully utilize this sword when you are old enough. However, in order to create the dark dragon eye, you must first gather the 8 dark stones. The dark dragon sword will transform into the true dark dragon sword with it." "Sweetheart, please untie me and cease separating yourselves from each other," Naruto said. "What do you mean by that?" Ryu asked. "Well, I wanted to protect Kureha. Ni-chan from the rogue ninja or Ryu. Ni-san would be very lonely, so I wanted to protect her so Ni.san can get married to Ne-chan," Naruto said, "and Ni.san, you always talk about her in your sleep and Kureha. Ni-chan, every night you kiss that picture of Ryu. Ni-san before you go to bed." Both Ryu and Kureha exchanged a blush. "Naruto," they both exclaimed, blushing even more. "Is that true, Kureha? Chan?" Ryu asked. Ryu took her hand tenderly and said, "Kureha. Chan." Kureha said shyly, "Hi, I have always cared for you, Ryu.kun. You are the reason I became a dragon lineage shrine maiden, so I can be close to you." Then Naruto said, "Ew, kissy faces, do it when I am out of the room please." They began kissing. Following their separation and untying of Naruto, the two charged at him, saying, "Next time don't tell people secrets." While complaining, the boy said, "But Joe Sama told me to do it." In righteous rage, Kureha exclaimed, "Joe Sama," Ryu declared, "I am going to kill Oto.san." The boy thought, "Nay, Chan and Ni.san are scary." As he continued to practice his obliteration technique, Joe felt a chill go down his spine and asked himself, Why do I get the feeling that I better stay here or else somebody would kill me?" Following the dark dragon sword incident, Naruto soon started training with Ryu for his sword and Shiden for his ninpo, along with Kasumi and Ayane. The first ninpo that Naruto learned was the art of the wind blades, also known as the ninpo, Hama Repujin. She was soon respected by some Tenjinmen and all the Hajinmen, especially by her mentor, Genra. The ones who didn't like her presence would never dare to try to hurt her. The last time a boy threw a rock at Ayane, Naruto caught it and glared at him, knowing that his blue eyes would turn the slitted red. Naruto sparred with both Ayane and Kasumi, but more often with Ayane because he was closer to her. The younger generation was terrified of Naruto because it was a nice intimidation tactic. By the time he was 11 years old, he was proficient in Kusarigama, Tonfas, and Bojutsu, and he was working on improving his scythe and bow skills. Ryu and Kureha grew closer to one another and eventually got married after beating the living daylights out of Joe, that is. Subsequently, Naruto and Ryu were dispatched to sneak into the Shadow Clan village and pay a visit to Mirai. They were standing on a branch, observing two unwary ninjas. Naruto was dressed in the same suit as Ryu, with a red scarf, and everything was hidden except for his eyes. "Are you ready?" Ryu asked. The answer was, "Yeah." The two fell silently, and when the ninjas turned, they met the ends of Ryu's and Naruto's dragon swords. When Naruto looked up, he saw that Ayane was silently observing from the edge of the cliff, and the Jinchuriki smirked at her before continuing on the path. More ninjas then appeared, and Ryu and Naruto easily defeated them. "I will take the high road, Naruto," Ryu remarked. "According to Naruto, you always get the high road, but okay." While Naruto continued forward, the Hayabusa heir nodded and launched himself up in the trees. Suddenly, two ninjas appeared in front of and behind him. Naruto slowly grasped the dark dragon sword hilt and held it with the tip pointing forward. The two swung their swords in unison, but Naruto blocked their swipes. Naruto leapt at the remaining ninja and attacked at his throat, piercing his larynx with the sword. The Jinchuriki threw the shurikens at them, and one of them managed to avoid them entirely, but the other was unfortunate enough to have two stuck in his throat. Naruto smirked and threw a kunai with a flower and a note attached. Naruto took the kunai and read the note, which read, "Nice job on the execution, but you were a bit slow with the jump." The boy shook his head and walked up to the house as the ninja gurgled and he flicked the blood off the sword and sheathed it. After leaping into a tunnel and spotting two ninja on guard, Naruto carefully removed two shuriken from his robe and gave them a light flick. The gleaming stars struck their foes, but one of them sliced lightly through the ninja's neck. "Dude." In front of the ninja fortress, which was populated by roughly 12 ninjas, Naruto swore as he chased after the fleeing ninja and used his sword to stab him. "Son of a bitch, I need to work on my aim," Naruto thought to himself as he used the flying swallow technique to eliminate two of the ninjas. "Gosh darn you." The young ninja kicked another in the chest while tearing the sword from his stomach, and Naruto pulled out an incendiary shuriken and leapt in the air as he threw at a group's feet, eliminating 3 of the ninja and wounding one. One of the ninja yelled, rushing in, but Naruto used the sword and plunged it into his stomach. Naruto halted the others as they leapt to confront him with their swords, saying, "Ninpo. Hama Repujin." Then, using Ayane's signal, another kunai was thrown, and Naruto opened it to read, "Do you need me to help you, Naruto-kun?" The wind blades were released, slicing the remaining opponents to ribbons both above and below him. Ayane came down to read the note, which read, "Nah, I think that I would have to be your knight in shining robes to come to your rescue, Ayane-chan." Naruto smirked, took the time to write a note, and stabbed the kunai alongside hers before leaving to enter the fortress. A chibi drawing of Naruto holding the peace sign was displayed in the corner. Then a ninja appeared and bowed before Ayane, who responded, "HMPH, that baka, Naruto-kun, Ayane. Sama. The Hayabusa village, it is under attack." "What? I have to warn Mirai. Sama." After yelling, Ayane thought, and Naruto-kun. Naruto. "Damn, Ryu.ni.san came here first, and I even know this place inside and out," the boy said as he entered the room and heard fighting. He opened the door and saw Ryu and Mirai bowing to each other, as if it were laundry for him. Naruto said, "Hello, Mirai. Senpai." "Ah, Naruto, my boy, I see that Ryu has made it before you." Mirai responded, "And I see that you have been treating your nunchukas with respect as well." The leader of the Shadow Clan turned to Ryu and said, "I see that you have the dragon sword. That must mean that he is still training in the sacred wilderness again." "Yes, my father has instructed it to me while he continues his training. It seems that he can never be satisfied with the power he wields." Mirai wisely remarked, "You will eventually realize the quest for power, maybe starting with your training here. What about its sister blade, the Dark Dragon?" I thought you were told to safeguard that as well. It is in good hands. They will ensure that it remains untouched in enemy hands, ensure that its dark power sealed, Ryu said after pausing for a moment. It is so unfortunate that such a sword and such power must go unutilized. I'm not from the dragon lineage, of course, and I don't care about the sword. The village of Hayabusa, Mirai. Sama. After Ayane hurried inside, Ryu and Naruto turned to face her and asked, "What happened, Ayane?" Naruto inquired. "It is being attacked," she said, and Ryu thought, "Kureha." "Ayane, please enter the village before us and ensure everyone is safe," Ryu said. "Naruto and I will follow you soon." After Ayane nodded and did a shunshin of lavender flowers, Naruto thought to himself, "Don't worry, Kureha.ne. Chan, Mina, we are coming," as he and Ryu departed. Mirai waited until there was silence before saying, "You can come in down." With his green coat and hat on, a man wearing spectacles said, "Everything is going according to plan, Mirai, Sama." "Good, soon I will have the Dark Dragon Blade in my possession. When Ryu finds his loved ones dead, the Dark Dragon Blade will feast on the vengeance, making it grow. Gamov, I want you to shadow Naruto and Ryu when they reach the city of Tyron." "Of course, sir, I am sorry, Naruto, for betraying you, but such power untouched will not be wasted in that god-forsaken village," Mirai said with a sinister smirk as Gamov vanished into the darkness. Ryu and Naruto. Who would attack the village? Is it a new foe or the Black Spider clan? Without turning around, Ryu answered, "I don't know, Naruto, but I do know one thing. If they hurt anyone I care about, I will show no mercy." Sanji, Sakura, Chan, Denroku, Hamamaru, Naruto nodded. As the two landed, they both noticed the devastation all around them. "Oh no," Naruto muttered. "Don't worry, I only see burned-out buildings. It appears that everyone fled to the underground tunnels or the back of the village." The ninja stood back. Back as samurais suddenly emerged and surrounded Naruto and Ryu. "So, Naruto, you think that you can handle this?" "Well, it might be a bit difficult if two of them show up." Ryu grinned and said, "Then those two I will take care of." The two immediately acted after Naruto glanced at Ryu out of the corner of his eye. The samurai's armor was sliced through when Naruto unleashed his blade. Naruto was slashed by one, but the Jinchuriki sidestepped and cut off his extended arm. The samurai writhed in agony as he fell to the ground, but Naruto swiftly stabbed him in the middle of his chest, ending the fight. After feeling a slash land on his back, the Jinchuriki turned to split the samurai from the waist down, arching his back in agony. He kicked another samurai in the chest after blocking a subsequent swipe from someone in his blind area. Ryu then grabbed his own dragon sword and stabbed him from behind without turning to face him. So Ryu called forth his spiritual energy and yelled, "Naruto, cover me." As he killed another man and used shuriken to cover his blood brother, Naruto called back, "Got it?" Ryu then yelled, "Naruto, jump now." The 13-year-old leapt high into the air, and Ryu exclaimed, "Ninpo! Hyakurai Sui no Jutsu." Ryu's enhanced bioelectric energy caught the other samurai as they were struggling to flee, and they all instantly perished. "Let's go, Ryu," Naruto said as he hit the ground. The two then walked around and discovered an unconscious Ayane. Naruto hurried over to Ayane's place and exclaimed, "Ayane-chan, hey, Ayane-chan, wake up." She handed Naruto her bow and arrows and said, "A dark samurai, clad in black armor, Naruto-kun. Ryu. Sama, please, don't attempt to fight it." The Jinchuriki stood up, his eyes blazing, after Naruto gently placed her against the wall. "Someone is going to regret this," he said. With Ryu at his heels, the Jinchuriki stepped into a clearing as Naruto's eyes shifted from blue to red. Unexpectedly, two cavalrymen with spears in their hands emerged as flaming wood fell, obstructing the way out. With a swift aim, Naruto pulled out a bow and arrow. "Ryu.ni, cover me, try to distract their attention," he said, releasing an arrow that bounced off one of the cavalrymen's armor. Ryu leapt to his feet and cut one of the riding horsemen, but the samurai knocked it away with his spear, which allowed Naruto to kill the man by shooting him in the eye with an arrow. After swiftly moving on to the next one, Naruto rolled away and shot the horse in the thigh. Ryu launched himself high into the air and stabbed the samurai in the chest as the horse neighed in agony as he fell. The samurai fell limp and gurgled a little, never to ride again. Naruto slung the bow on his back as Ryu sheathed the sword and wiped the blood from it. "We are almost there." The pair swooped over the burning wood and rolled swiftly to find a member who had fallen. Naruto apologized and said, "Damn, Shinji. No time to mourn for the dead, we will do that later, let's continue." When the two crossed the bridge, they saw a samurai who appeared to be under the influence of a malevolent spirit and two ninpo masters. The boy nodded and pulled out his sword, glaring at the ninpo masters, saying, "Naruto, you deal with them, I'll take the samurai." A light blue symbol appeared to release a blue ball as the two started performing incantations. Naruto dodged the two balls and threw two shuriken at them, saying, "Ah, son of a." However, the two teleported to appear behind Naruto, who rolled forward and attempted to slash back at them. "Damn it, I can't show the dark powers of the Dark Dragon Blade, let's see," Naruto cursed as the two masters drifted away. As the masters teleported, Kyuubi Jinchuriki closed his eyes and ducked to avoid being slashed by one of the ninja's sai. Then, as he slashed at the other ninja, giving him a superficial slash, Naruto kicked one of them away and blocked him. The ninpo master retreated, but Naruto hit him. The master blocked with his sai, and the Dark Dragon Blade showed itself to be the more powerful weapon, slicing the ninja in half and shattering the weapons. The samurai and Ryu engaged in combat after Ryu deflected his spear and knocked him off his horse. After their swords clashed in sparks, Naruto continued through the gates to witness Kureha fighting the black samurai that Ayane had told them about in the burning shrine building. The black armored samurai was going to stab her in the back as she fell to the ground, but Naruto swiftly pulled out his bow and pointed an arrow at him, diverting his attention. The boy pulled out his nunchaku and ran at him, spinning it in the air, while Naruto yelled, "Your fight is with me, you bastard. You will not lay a finger on her." The black samurai knocked him back with his arm after he swung the end down. The black samurai turned to see Ryu and Kureha at the gate as the Hayabusa ninja fell back and rolled on the ground. "Kureha-chan, go and hide somewhere safe, me and Naruto will deal with him." With the fake Dark Dragon Blade in hand, the black samurai launched the super ninja forward, but the samurai's dark energy sent through the blade slammed him back to Naruto's position. The black samurai stabbed the Hayabusa ninja in the stomach after Ryu recovered and launched an aerial attack. Naruto cried out, "No," as he saw his brother drop to the ground motionless. Then the dam burst, and all the resentment he had accumulated as the man who had destroyed his village, killed his friends, and injured Ayane was let loose and directed at the black samurai. With orange chakra erupting from his body, Naruto exclaimed, "I am going to kill you. I will never forgive you." His blonde hair had grown wilder, and his toenails and nails were both razor-sharp, tearing through his shoes. A picture of a fox with a sadistic smile appeared over his head, and his canines were over his mouth. The samurai were taken aback by this unexpected show of strength. You would have noticed a glimmer of fear in the samurai's eyes if they had any. With unparalleled speed, Naruto squatted down and launched an attack. Astonished, the samurai attempted to block it with his sword, but Naruto caught it by the blade and clenched, shattering the fake dark blade. Naruto took advantage of the black armored samurai's surprise by punching him in the stomach, causing a large dent and sending him flying back into the flaming structure. After running inside, Naruto grabbed Doku by his helmet, pulled him outside, and started repeatedly punching him in the chest until a crack appeared, at which point his animalistic features vanished as he passed out. With a nightstick in his other hand, Gamov extended his hand, but Doku grabbed it for him and removed Naruto's sword from behind him. As he walked alongside Doku, Gamov remarked, "Good, you have the sword, Doku. Let's go. He will soon awaken. To come back for it." Doku turned to walk into the night after glancing at the fallen Hayabusa ninja he had battled, failing to notice that Ryu had been re-energized by his spiritual animal. Naruto later awoke with a start and exclaimed, "Ryu.ni.san. Shish, it is okay. Ryu.kun is alive," Kureha said. "How is that possible? I witnessed his death firsthand," Naruto exclaimed in shock. "I don't know either, but somehow his spirit was able to find its way back to his body. Something didn't feel right, so Naruto asked, 'My sword, where is it?' I am afraid that the worst has happened. It appeared that the black samurai has taken the dark dragon sword." "I see, so that is what they were after. We have to get it back or else someone will become the devil incarnate. Who was that person anyway?" Kureha nodded her head and replied, "I don't know, but I believe that Mirai-sama does. You and Ryu have healed pretty quickly, so you should be able to travel to get the sword back. Also thank you, Naruto, for saving my life." "You're welcome, Chan, after all, you saved mine as well." Naruto and Ryu changed back into their normal clothes the following day. Naruto's Ryukin attire and Ryu's regular attire. Mirai stated, "My network of ninja have uncovered the reason for the attack. The samurai that burned down the village and killed many of your clansmen is called Doku, the lord of the greater fiends of the Vigor Empire. It seems that the Vigor Emperor seeks the power of the Dark Dragon Sword." "Doku," Ryu said, walking to his sword and partially unsheathing it. His olive green eyes were full of hate, and he made it obvious in his voice that Doku would die by his or Naruto's hand. Ryu was ahead of Naruto when she exclaimed, "Wait. Yes, Ayane-chan?" Naruto asked as he turned to face her. She produced a bundle from behind her and unfolded it to reveal 2 katanas. Ayane handed him the 2 swords and said, "Here, take these. Their names are Tiger's Fang and Dragon's Claw. I hope that they will help you on your journey. Naruto.kun, Ryu. Sama." With caution, Naruto picked up the swords and fastened them to his hip and back. Naruto put a hand to her cheek and said, "Thank you, Ayane-chan. I promise I'll be back to you guys." The young ninja, who was only 13, was startled when Ayane blushed a little and hurriedly removed his mask to kiss him. Naruto was left to cautiously touch his lips as the ninja swiftly returned to Murai's ninja fortress. Ryu grinned and remarked, "Hehe, it appears that I am not the only one who has found love, Naruto. Otudo. S. Shut up, Ryu.ni, said Naruto, drawing up his mask. "Oh, no, I am not going to let this go. You like her, don't you?" "Yes, but there is also someone else I do like as well as Ayane-chan. I am going on a limb to say it is the Princess Kasumi-chan, nay?" Ryu nodded and replied, "Well, both of us are the last of our kind. You need to revive the Uzumaki clan and me, the Hayabusa clan. Though you are technically part of the Hayabusa clan, you might have to help me as well too, so I am sure that Ayane and Kasumi can share. After all, without your help, Ayane would have resented her sister as much as she hates her father." Naruto clenched his fist and growled, "Don't remind me, I am going to kill that bastard when I see him if he ever shows up again." "No matter, let's go. We need to catch that airship if we are going to slip into the Vigor Empire undetected, plus it is the only way to get in." Ryu replied quietly. "Right, Ni-san." Naruto threw an incendiary shuriken at the door and yelled, "Fire in the hole." The door was shattered into splinters, and Ryu walked over them to exit the hallway. "Well, if you can't open it, do the next best thing, blow it up." As they moved down the corridor, the 2 ninjas carefully inspected the room to make sure there were no more surprises. After entering the final room, our heroes turned to face the door to discover that another soldier had entered through the window. They were all equipped with a plasma blade, a combat knife, a pistol, a gas mask, and a military combat suit. The only distinction is that Naruto's opponent had a tiny riot shield fastened to his arm. As the soldiers stiffened up and started shooting at the ninjas, Naruto drew out Tiger's Fang and ran at the black-suited soldier, blocking the bullets with the sword. The soldier swiftly holstered the gun to draw his plasma blade and activated after realizing that the young ninja was far too fast to land a shot. Naruto sent out his leg to knock his opponent off his feet after dodging his blow. The soldier jumped to avoid the attack, but this did not prepare him for the ninja's foot to hit his chin. With his back to the stunned soldier, Naruto twisted his body and kicked him again, striking his head. The unfortunate SAT riot guard was stabbed in the throat by Naruto, who flipped to land next to him after the soldier fell to the ground. As he defeated his opponent with the dragon sword, Ryu remarked, "I see that your taijutsu has improved a bit, Oto. Thanks for the comment, Ni-san, but it looks like we have to go on the main deck to get an ID card for this place. Unlike the door I blew in our room, those doors are double steel. Reinforced. Our incendiary shuriken wouldn't even put a dent in it," replied Naruto. After searching the deceased commando, Naruto remarked, "He doesn't have any, but I got some money off of him. It would be a shame to leave here to waste." Ryu nodded. Perhaps one of these soldiers' higher-ranking officers has one on them. The Jinchuriki briefly appeared after Naruto pocketed the cash, but he quickly pulled his head back to protect his face from being shot. Naruto remarked, "There are 4 soldiers down the hall." The super ninja pulled out 4 shuriken and rolled out, throwing them at an angle, killing them instantly as the deadly stars were embedded in their heads. Ryu placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "Leave them to me." The 2 ninjas searched the dead bodies after they fell to the ground with a dull thud. They discovered cash on each of them, and one of Ryu's bodies had a key with a wing on it. Ryu used the wing key to open the door after turning to face it. "Time to break in Ayane-chan's gifts. Guide my enemies' deaths to my blade's sweet embrace, Dragon's Claw and Tiger's Fang." The 2 expert ninjas rushed into the main deck to confront a group of 7 SAT commandos as the Jinchuriki pulled out his second katana. By using the flying swallow technique, Naruto leapt into the air and severed the heads of 2 of the soldiers, causing the arterial spray to shoot out of their necks like a geyser. After taking out Ryuken and slashing at one soldier, Ryu dodged a blow from another. As he sliced into another soldier's chest with a downward, diagonal blow, The super ninja kicked one in the chest. In order to prevent his blood brother from being stabbed in the back, Naruto moved low and severed a soldier's legs from beneath him. A soldier in his blind spot attempted to seize Naruto from behind and slit his neck with his combat knife, but the Jinchuriki saw him coming and used Tiger's Fang to stab him in the chest without turning to face him. After creating his hand seals, the Jinchuriki sheathed his gifted swords and exclaimed, "Ninpo! Kan Ryu no Jutsu!" He then used the heat from his own body to launch it at the two surviving soldiers, converting them to ashes, by collecting it in both hands. "Search downstairs first, since this is the main deck and they are bound to be enemies hidden here. Don't let up your guard even for a second." Naruto pulled out his nunchaku and exclaimed, "Right," as the two blood brothers descended the stairs one by one. After hearing gunfire from Ryu's end and a brief period of silence, Naruto barely avoided death by dodging a knife stabbed to his face and then slamming his nunchaku into his opponent's knee, shattering it. Naruto kicked the soldier in the chest, causing him to roll down the step and launch a kunai into his head. The soldier's scream of pain was brief. As Naruto descended, he noticed two doors with slots for ID cards. He thought to himself, "Damn, no, how do we get out? I guess I better go back upstairs." Ryu emerged from the left side of the main office, and the boy ran upstairs to meet him. "I didn't find anything in the galley and I have yet to check the right side. There is nothing of use on my side. My side has two doors, but we need an ID card get through both of them, unless we come from the other side. There is nothing worth investigating in these documents, just blueprints to the new galley." Naruto picked up a few of the documents scattered across the floor after Ryu nodded, and he followed him to the room. "Looks like this door is our way out," the master ninja said, glancing at a door. As they heard the door lock and entered the sliding door to discover two men pointing their guns at them, Naruto remarked, "Why'd I get the feeling that this door is practically screaming trap?" "Damn, scatter," insisted Ryu. As the bullets rained dangerously near their bodies, the two ninja jumped into action. One of the shooters was killed by Ryu's three kunai, and Naruto stabbed the other with his sword. A soldier was attempting to stab Naruto when he fell on his back, but the Jinchuriki swiftly planted both feet up to kick him in the chest and then tripped him to catch his sword and pierce his body with it. "Nice thr, oof," Naruto exclaimed. Ryu took his sword from his dead opponent and nodded to Naruto, who said, "Sneaky bastard," as he stepped away from him. "Man, I am getting bored with these guys. Where in the excitement on this Hindenburg?" They soon located the captain's cabin and discovered a journal mentioning a malfunction in the power control unit in the electrical room. They entered the fore cabin, and Ryu remarked, "This must be where the communications and navigation panels are. If I am correct, below us should be where the helm is at." Naruto remarked, "Hey, an elevator," as he pushed the button to descend. As they descended in another elevator, a SAT commando turned and exclaimed, "What?" The SAT riot guard promptly put the blimp on autopilot to combat the intruders after Ryu interrupted him with a kunai. Additionally, another SAT commando entered through the window. One of them attempted to stab Naruto with his provided combat knife, but the boy moved quickly, sending a knife chop head to his wrist, forcing the man to drop it and then punching him hard in the face. Naruto decided to fight them using taijutsu. A SAT riot guard from the elevator then slashed Naruto in the back, and Naruto growled out, a little angry that he had been dropped. Then he drove his palm into his nose, causing the sharp bone to shift upward into his brain, killing him instantly. Declaring, "Hayabusa Hajutsu. Izuna drop." Naruto advanced and kicked his opponent high into the air before grabbing him and locking his arms and legs in place. He let go of the man and let his head hit the metal floor as he spun around with the riot guard until the very last second. After searching him and discovering an ID card in his pocket, the Jinchuriki declared, "At last, we can proceed to the electrical room. The only thing left to do is to find it. According to Ryu, I found it. We have to go back to the main deck again, then go through the door on the left side that you investigated. But after that, we have to figure out how to get across since there is a gap across it." Ryu started hacking the console after examining it for any signs. "Needless to say, we got to wing it flawlessly," the super ninja stated. The door's light instantly changed from red to green as Ryu used the ID card, and the two ninjas hurried to the elevator before making their way back to the main deck and the fore cabin. As they entered, Naruto noticed some arrows in storage and pulled out a storage scroll, sealing half of them inside and pulling out at least 10 arrows from his quiver. Commandos rushed into the middle cabin as Ryu started to turn the crank to open the door, but Naruto's archery swiftly dispatched them. When the super ninja finally opened the door and saw a railing above his head, he had to draw his sword to stop a bullet that was headed straight for his head. Naruto drew an arrow and took aim, releasing it as he released his held breath. The commandos avoided it, and Naruto grinned because he had filled his arrow with ninpo and it was pointed at the flammable canister. Ryu grabbed the railing and started to shimmy himself over to the electrical room in the aft cabin after it exploded, knocking the SAT commandos off the railing and causing them to fall to their deaths. Then, an announcement came over the intercom. There has been a malfunction in the electrical system, switching to emergency power. The locks on all doors have been opened as a safety precaution. Naruto grinned when he saw Ryu approaching him again, but he was amazed when Ryu eliminated 2 of the SAT commandos in a matter of seconds. The dragon ninja then approached the railing once more and leapt alongside his brother, saying, "Let's go." "Freeze. Drop your weapons," the captain commanded, and the 2 ninjas exchanged glances before moving in opposite directions as the SAT commandos opened fire. The Blood Brothers then proceeded through the metal door in the captain's cabin and opened it to discover 20 riot guards and SAT commandos with their guns aimed at them. They threw shuriken at them, destroying some of their forces as they fled for cover. A few of them were killed or wounded. "I'll take care of them, you go on ahead." "Okay," Naruto shouted to Ryu after a while. "Are you sure about this, Naruto?" The Jinchuriki pulled out 2 smoke bombs and threw them at the opposing group, saying, "Yes, I am. I need to test myself from all of the training that Shiden, Sama, Joe, Sama, and Mirai Sama have given me as well as you. Ni-san. We can't waste time with all of these guys pinning both of us down." Ryu slipped past into a vent just as the soldiers started shooting aimlessly. Until the smoke cleared, Naruto attacked the soldiers from behind his crate. The 12-year-old boy with Tiger's Fang and Dragon's Claw in his hands caught the soldiers' attention. "The good news is that I am not bored anymore, you guys. The bad news is that none of you guys are leaving here alive," Naruto grumbled. The soldiers produced their plasma blades and holstered their pistols. While racing through the crowd, Naruto yelled, "Hayabusa no Ryu! 8 gates of destruction!" and cut several of them, causing them to lose their valuable life, giving blood. "Now who is next?" Naruto asked the surviving soldiers. They remained silent and only tried to murder him by turning to their guns. As he ran toward them, the Jinchuriki shifted, obstructing the bullets as he got closer. Before stabbing 2 of them in the chest, the Namikaze heir leapt into the air and booted one of them in the head. After catching 2 in the face with a split kick, Naruto stabbed a riot guard's foot before slicing his neck. When a riot guard tripped him and sent him crashing to the ground, the boy ducked under a commando's slash and stabbed him while kicking another one in the chest. To avoid being stabbed by his plasma sword, he rolled sideways and then butted him in the face with the end of his katana. Quickly rising, he sheathed his swords and started chanting as he flipped in the air to get on the crate. The leaves started to dance and swirl around him as he chanted, "Rin, Bio, Tu, Sha, Kai, Jin, Retsu, Zai, Zen, Ninpo, Shinkahasu." He yelled, forming a vortex of fire that he could use to attack his foes who were devouring them. "That one always seemed to take a lot out of me," Naruto said, kneeling on the ground and panting with effort after the divine fireballs consumed them and turned them to ashes. Dead bodies were discovered cold on the floor as the Jinchuriki passed through the passageway of the gas compartment. When Naruto noticed a nasty cut on one of them, he whistled, "Phew, Ryu.Ni must have done a real good job on them." With a quick glance up, Naruto leapt through the already opened hatch and barely escaped a plasma blast in midair. When the Jinchuriki landed on top of the airship, he exclaimed, "Whoa," and saw a man. Well, more machine than man. He could only make out the right side of his head as being human. As he landed behind his younger brother, Ryu exclaimed, "Naruto, you okay?" "Yeah, I am good. Who is that you're battling?" "His name is Dynamo. He is one of the generals of the Vigor military force." "I see." Dynamo laughed and yelled, "Ha ha ha, who is this wanna.be ninja? No matter, both of you will not reach the gates of Vigor alive." Dynamo narrowed his human eye and said, "Why you? I will kill you," Naruto responded, "Pretty big talk from a harmless marshmallow. Is that thing on your hand compensating for something that you don't have?" The 2 shinobis rolled around to avoid the plasma blast he threw at them. When Naruto attempted to be slashed from behind, the cybernetic general swiftly turned around and used his plasma gun to knock him out. The general electrocuted Ryu after he leapt into the air, then shot him with a plasma blast after grabbing him by the neck. The Jinchuriki sped past General Dynamo, dispersing afterimages around him, and the general exclaimed, "You will not catch me in a stupid ninja trick, shinobi." Naruto stood up and said, "Okay, then, this is going to be a bit hard." Before Ryu entered and slashed him in the back, he started shooting the afterimages one by one. The cybernetic man roared in agony, "Arg! Why you? but Naruto attacked him from the front before he could finish. Dynamo screamed, "You will both suffer," and started firing the plasma blast even more quickly. With little difficulty, Naruto and Ryu dodged the blasts before coming together as Naruto remarked, "Well, he is such a quick shot." Ryu replied, "If this was not a serious situation here, I would burst out in laughter." "But you are, Ryu.Ni, on the inside though, touché, now let's finish. The strike that you gave him was close. He is guarding his front more often than his back." "Right," the general yelled, "I got you," as the ninjas leapt into action and swiftly attacked Dynamo. He fired at them, but it was an afterimage of the two of them, and then he felt 2 slashes on his chest. With a groan of agony, he collapsed to the floor. As they watched Dynamo sporadically launch plasma blasts into the air, Naruto and Ryu both sheathed their revered swords. One of the blasts struck the airship's cockpit from above, slowing down the smaller blimp. The general moaned as he burst into fragments, and the green electric residue from his body exploded after arcing over the airship. Naruto yelled, "This is our stop," and leapt overboard, Ryu trailing behind. In order to slow their descent, Naruto and Ryu raised their arms and legs in an X shape after racing toward the ground. His older brother followed closely behind Naruto as he veered to the left in search of an electric line. "Hey, Ni-san, if we ever have to go to Vigor for any reason, can we do that again?" Naruto asked Ryu as the flaming airship plummeted to the ground and the two shinobi landed on top of its ends. Ryu shook his head in amusement, observing Naruto's visibly large smile. "Let's go, Naruto, we got a greater fiend to kill." Yeah, they swam into the air and slid along the electric wire with their bracers. With a gleeful smirk, Naruto flipped in midair and used his bracers to grab the other wire. The two then flipped in midair a second time, landing on the outskirts of Tyron, the capital city. "Well, we reached the city of Tyron, now what? Ayane-chan, if you don't mind my asking, how the 9 hells did you get here?" A voice said, "You must go to Han's bar," Naruto replied. "Now I can't tell you that, Naruto, if I do, then I won't be able to do my job so well. How did your gifts serve you?" The purple-haired girl smirked. With an unabashed flirtation, Naruto remarked, "Very perfectly, much just like you." Naruto said, "Now about Han's bar." Ayane blushed at the compliment, but she jolted out of her reverie and responded, "Yes, Han's bar is a well-known watering hole as well as the center of Vigor's underground intelligence. There you will be able to find clues on Doku's whereabouts. You can spot it easily by its neon sign." Ryu inquired, "Where is it located?" "It is located in the center of the city." "Great, the information has to be where guards are mostly crawling about," said Naruto. Ryu said, "Thanks, Ayane," as he turned to leave, but Naruto approached her and planted a kiss on the purple-haired Kunoichi, who was startled but gave it back with her own fervor. "I will be close by." "Okay," Ayane said as they parted ways. "Be careful," Naruto said, nodding. "Funny, I should be telling you the same thing." "Can't get enough of it, can you?" Ryu said as the two parted ways. Naruto smirked and said, "Now I see why you loved Kureha's lips so much. So how do we do this? Covert and discreet?" he asked. "Can't, they must know that we are here due to their airship being destroyed. No one could have missed that, so the city will be on mild alert since that they probably think that we are dead, and if that contact of Doku is as well, then the city will be crawling with guards. Either way, this is going to be a long night." Two of them were smoking when Naruto and Ryu arrived on the rooftop. The Saw men died without knowing who killed them. "All right, you take out the one on the left. On 3. 1. 2. 3. The two leapt to the ground behind him and sliced their necks from ear to ear. Then Naruto said, "Hey, Ni-san?" "Yeah?" was his blood brother's kind response. "If we are ninjas, how come we never seem to attack from the shadows instead of the light?" "You know, to be honest, I have no idea. Why are you asking all of a sudden?" Naruto turned to face the audience on the other side of the fourth wall and remarked, "I don't know. It's like someone wrote it that way. That is it, no more late night snacks for you. Anyway, we are losing focus. Split up, so we can cover more ground." Naruto answered his blood brother, "Right." When they arrived at the Twin Serpents Plaza, the two ninjas leapt off in different directions. Ryu reflected, "Somehow, I have a feeling that we may have to go back there sometime in the future." After landing on the rooftops, Naruto, the Jinchuriki, scanned the area and noticed that a portion of the district was bathed in pinkish light. The boy tensed to jump, whispering, "That must be where Han's bar is." But he leapt away to avoid the weighted end of a kusarigama. Naruto turned around and saw 5 ninjas staring at him. Well, that was close. So the famed Black Spider clan is here to deny my quest to get to Han's bar, huh? He asked. The Jinchuriki drew his swords and said, "You will die here, Hayabusa ninja. You see, your master has stolen something that is mine, and I want it back. No, it is you five that will die tonight." "Ha, as if you can defeat Lord Doku. I know I can defeat him, now step aside or pay the price of losing your lives." The Black Spider ninjas lunged towards Naruto, and one of them hurled his Kusarigama's weighted end at him. Naruto dodged, only to be kicked in the air by an adversary ninja. The ninja's leg was severed when the Jinchuriki stood up and slashed at it. Clinging to his missing limb, the Black Spider ninja rolled around a little and screamed. Naruto said, "I will deal with you later," while concentrating on the others. Two of them then began to use ninpo spells, and the Jinchuriki leapt to the air and threw shuriken at them. They grimaced in agony as the shuriken struck their hands. Naruto gave him a second mouth by slashing his neck and twice kicking him in the stomach. The Jinchuriki then inserted a kunai into one's chest by flicking it out of his thigh holster. When Naruto's senses were alerted, he flipped away to see the person he had previously taken his leg leap up and use kamikaze to attack him. Suddenly, Naruto growled, "Okay. I am really getting annoyed with you, ninpo. Hyo Arashi," as the weighted end of a Kusarigama slammed into his back. It was impossible for the Black Spider ninja to survive after the ice storm struck the ninja with the Kusarigama and sent him flying through the rooftops frozen in place. Naruto then stabbed the final one in the stomach before tearing out his sword in the side. "TCH, getting in my way, now to Han's bar," Naruto exclaimed as he jumped across the rooftops. "I just hope that I won't encounter any more of those Black Spider ninja, but, of course, they would be there to protect their god." When the boy first arrived at the illuminated area, he saw a store. He entered the shop and saw a variety of weapons on the wall before an elderly man approached. "What is a blacksmith shop doing here?" "Oh, well, I think I can stop by for a while," he asked. "Oh, hello, you must be Naruto. How do you know my name, wise one?" "Your brother, Ryu, was here not a minute ago. Would you like to buy something or have your swords repaired?" "Sure, but may I ask for your name, wise one?" "My name is Muramasa." The blacksmith laughed. "Yes, I am actually him." Naruto's eyes widened. Muramasa. "Yes, I would like you to upgrade your swords, or are you interested in buying a new weapon?" Naruto asked, drawing out the cash he had borrowed from his victims. "Yes, I would like you to upgrade my swords, and do you do engraving?" he asked. "Yes, I do. I would like you to engrave names on different sides of one blade, Ayane on one side and Kushina on the other on my tiger's claw. On Dragon's Fang, please engrave Hayabusa on one side and Namikaze on the other." "So, you are his son?" Muramasa asked, nodding his head. "You knew my father?" "Knew him. I was the one who forged his specialized prong kunai for him. When you have time, I could tell you some things about him when he was alive. It was such a shame that he died so young, but I could understand why he did it." The ninja started searching for a new weapon while Muramasa worked on it, and Naruto nodded, saying, "I will be sure to do that, Muramasa." "Dono." He was immediately drawn to a weapon that had a sinister aura about it. Naruto grabbed it, thinking, "What the hell is up with me being drawn to dark weapons?" Naruto struggled to control the power of the section staff before it exploded in a dark purple aura and spread up his arm, enveloping him in the purple aura. After that, his eyes turned purple and then red again, causing orange chakra to burst out of his body and engulf the purple veins that were glowing, causing them to retreat back into the staff. "I will never understand why that occurs, but thank you, Dad, for the Kyuubi," said Naruto, shaking his head. "No one has ever been able to tame Amaterasu before," Muramasa remarked. "The staff is named after the goddess of the sun. How anti-climatic. How long will it be when you have finished with my weapons?" replied Naruto. "I will have them finished at dawn, but it will be for a few hours in the night," the elderly man retorted. The old man turned to take Ayane's mementos and worked diligently on them while Naruto went to Han's bar. The Jinchuriki bowed and said, "Thank you for upgrading my weapons, Muramasa." "Dono." Muramasa replied, "You are rather welcome, Namikaze-san. I hope to see you again sometime." He strode to Han's bar after passing through the slowly rising door, only to be run over by a motorcycle. As Naruto sprang to the side to dodge the subsequent pass and dispatched Tsukiyomi, he exclaimed, "What the hell?" After a minute of checking his pockets, Naruto threw his hands in the air and said, "Oh, damn, I am sorry, I think I left at home. You think that you can let me in for free?" The commando on the motorcycle sped up the throttle to ask, "Do you have a ticket for the party?" The commando remained silent and hurried to Naruto, who waited until the last second to swerve out of the way and slam his new staff into the commando's chest, knocking the driver off. As the motorcycle crashed into the wall in a flaming pile of metal, the driver flew backwards into the ground and the other soldier in the sidecar screamed. As the commando stood up to draw his pistol and plasma blade, Naruto whirled the staff in his hand and held it behind him. When the commando fired his pistol, Naruto used Tsukiyomi to deflect it and transform it into its tri-sectional shape. The SAT commando rolled to holster his pistol so he could concentrate on using his plasma blade to strike the intruder after the Jinchuriki flipped it around. After blocking a blow with one section, Naruto swung the other section at the commando's head, causing him to fall and kick Naruto in the groin. "Bad move, sir," the ninja said, backing away, his eyes brimming with rage. After a few minutes, he swung his staff into blinding arcs and vanished, leaving behind an afterimage. He was crouching with the staff when his chakra violently flowed around him, turning into a glowing yellowish color. The Uzumaki finished it off as the blackened flames burned up his enemy's body, but the commando took the hits without resistance, being struck from all sides. Gazing at the black flamed staff, the Jinchuriki said, "Wow, I like this staff." Among the panicked screams, someone exclaimed, "It's a fiend." Naruto raised an eyebrow. "A fiend? What is a fiend?" Then he heard a loud roar inside the bar and thought, "Well, I guess I have no choice but to investigate." He entered and saw a blonde woman wearing a skin-tight black leather combat suit that exposed her enormous breasts. She was holding a big green hammer with a curved spike on one end and an axe blade on the other. Naruto gazed at what seemed to be a hybrid of a human, dinosaur, and devil. With haste, the woman hefted her weapon and delivered a single blow to the fiend. After glancing at Naruto, she turned to watch Ryu enter the bar from the corner. "Who are you two?" inquired the woman. Naruto became more serious. "We better go upstairs. There are eyes and ears around us and we prefer to stick to the shadows." The woman gestures for the two to follow her upstairs after nodding. She repeated, "Now who are you two?" "I am Ryu Hayabusa and this is my blood brother, Naruto Uzumaki." Ryu crossed his arms. "I am Rachel, hunter and slayer of fiends." The woman nodded and moved to the balcony, putting down her hammer. Ryu remarked, "So that was a fiend." Rachel gave a stiff nod. "You don't see them much nowadays. It is hard to believe that they were ever human, isn't it?" Naruto responded, "So that fiend used to be a human." Rachel responded, "Yes, that fiend was once a human being. Anyone that has susceptibility to the curse, whether good or bad, can succumb to it and become a fiend." Although Ryu spoke calmly, Naruto could tell that he was a little annoyed by Rachel's patronizing demeanor. "So exactly what does that make you?" Ryu asked. "Complex and you?" Rachel asked coolly, crossing her arms. "I am looking for a greater fiend named Doku. Do you know him?" Ryu said, dismissing the question. Rachel's eyes briefly flashed with rage, and she asked, "Why are you looking for him?" Naruto replied, "We are going to kill him." The three stood in silence until Rachel said, "Looks like it is going to be a busy night, really? You have no idea what you are up against, do you? If he could have been killed, I would have done it myself long ago. He was the one that took my sister away from me." With her grapple wire fastened to her wrist, she leapt over the balcony and departed the area. "Naruto," Ryu responded, "I want you to follow her, see if you can get more information from her since you are better at bringing people together more than me." Ryu asked, "What is with the staff?" Naruto replied, "Right. I bought it from a family friend of my dad's. His name is Muramasa. Apparently I have a knack for cursed weapons. Now if you excuse me, I have to give this staff some blood or else the flames of Amaterasu will burn against me, plus it is nighttime." After Ryu nodded and watched Naruto vanish, the dragon ninja heard someone say, "You seem to have quite a way with the ladies, my friend." He turned to look at a man who was wearing spectacles, a green hat, and a trench coat that matched. The man got up on the balcony and slipped off, saying, "Don't mind me, I am just passing by. By the way, good luck on that Doku guy. Sounds like you are going to need it. Oh, and I know Rachel quite well, she will be just fine." "That guy? Who is he and how does he know Rachel?" Ryu thought as he hurried to look over the balcony and saw nothing. Eventually, the super ninja forced the thoughts from his mind and left alone. A voice asked, "So that is where you headed?" As Rachel glanced over the building and noticed a dome-like structure. She turned to see Naruto sitting casually on the wall and questioned, "You? Why are you following me?" Naruto came down and approached her. "Well, the way I see it is that you know a lot about these fiends and I have no clue on them, so I will need you to fill me in on them and you see that you know where the best places are for information. The way you were looking at that dome building means that it is a gold mine." Naruto hefted Amaterasu over his shoulders and said, "All right. The female hunter hefted her warhammer and said, "Fine, you can come along, just don't get in my way." Then he became serious and said, "Get ready, we got company and they're coming in fast." Rachel was about to eliminate a squadron of SAT commandos when they suddenly appeared on the scene, but Naruto sped past her with Amaterasu blazing and exclaimed, "Crescent flame." He spun on his heel to shoot out a huge black flaming crescent that set the squadron on fire. Naruto summoned the flames back into the staff as the men screamed in agony as their bodies burned to a crisp. Gazing back at the fiend hunter, the Jinchuriki asked, "So, do you think I am going to get in your way now?" With her lips pressed together, Rachel answered, "No, not at all." To find out more about their adversaries, Rachel ran with Naruto to the Vigor Library, the only known information source.
That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this great story. See you in the next one.